ladies and gentlemen, the funny, the talent, the good looking,
the dime piece
just doubled up in
We call him the dime piece.
Well, if you thought
we call him the white unicorn.
That's right. If you thought the show was athletic and good looking before, it just jumped up 50%.
We just one up this bitch.
We got Mike Stud up in this bitch.
I'm blushing.
And Mike's one of the only guys we've had who 50 Cent, Conor McGregor. I say 50 Cent, Conor McGregor. I mean the who's who. And you're the first guy I told our publicist and booker, reach out to this dude. She was like, really? I'm like, yeah, reach out to
Well, you're a
guy.
fan of the music, and I was listening, and I was like, this guy who was an All-American pitcher, All-American high school and college.
You didn't know, right?
No.
And I'm like, dude, I'm telling you he's going to be a good guest because we have to sell each other on guests. Sometimes they bring in a guy, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, man, the way I discovered Mike was I was in camp, I think for Mitrione or Andre Orlovsky, and I'm just in the middle of this grind session, running the Santa Monica stairs like an asshole at like midnight because I couldn't sleep.
I remember that.
So I'm running. Yeah, I sent you that picture. So I'm running like a slave, and I'm on Pandora, and one of his songs pops up, and I was like, oh, that's dope. So I screenshot it and then posted it. Mike responded, and then I just from there, I was like, man, this dude's dope. So I was following him, researching. I'm like, hold up. He was an athlete? And he's not like an athlete who he played club ball. You know what I'm saying?
No, your standards are high.
You know me.
Your standards.
If I throw the term athlete around, you better come
I do throw it around. I'll say he was a good athlete.
It drives me
Brendan
nuts.
goes, well, he was a high school football player. So never used the word athlete again. And you know,
but with Mike, you're and correct me if I'm wrong, Mike. Two-sport Gatorade Player of the Year in basketball, baseball.
I was a Gatorade Player of the Year in baseball.
Baseball
for 2 years.
Goddamn, back to back.
And then I was just I wasn't Gatorade Player of the Year. I was just an all-state basketball player. But I will give you a disclaimer. I'm from Rhode Island, so
so there's no black guys. You're playing.
No.
You're like Babe Ruth.
I was the only white guy on my team.
You're playing against all white guys and just crossing them up.
No, don't pigeonhole me. Do not pigeonhole. It's too early to pigeonhole me.
Don't you do that.
Don't build me up and pigeonhole me. But yeah, man, I was the only. I went to like an inner city school. It was publicly funded, but it was like a private, you know what I mean? So we had a lot of kids it was a good basketball school. And I was really into basketball when I was young. Then, 10th grade rolls around, I started throwing hard. So pitching and baseball separated itself from me, and it became the obvious meal ticket.
Yeah, your passion.
So you're on your way to be a pro.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I know a lot of guys say that. And coming from Rhode Island, there was still, I wasn't at, like, my numbers were absurd in high school. I had like a 0.5 year, but again, I'm in Rhode Island, so a lot of the scouts that would come, I want to see him do this against guys who play in
the Latin
Texas.
players.
I want to see him, guys who play in Texas year round, and they were very interested in what I would do when I changed climates and went, so we went and played. I went to Duke.
You got a full ride to Duke, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I got the full athletic scholarship, but for baseball, that covers about half of Duke's tuition.
Really?
Yeah, Duke's
Duke.
Absurd. I mean, everything about Duke athletics are fantastic. Obviously, football is growing, but basketball is like what I mean? So
does basketball cover the full scholarship?
Oh yeah,
has to.
Yeah, and like the way it's split, because baseball isn't such a moneymaker, especially collegiate baseball. Think about it. I mean, you see College World Series is starting to grow a little bit nationally, but you're never seeing. You'll never see a regular season collegiate baseball game on TV. You know what I mean? So as far as the university looking at it, it's not a moneymaker. So I think there's 30 guys on a team, and I think they have like 14 full scholarships to offer. So they divvy it. You know what I mean? Like I think the maximum baseball scholarship you get is half the tuition. But I didn't know they could do that. Yeah, that's how it works. But I also I've focused a lot on academics too.
Yeah, you got good grades at Duke too. So then you have one of the lowest ERAs ever in Duke the lowest of all time Duke history baseball.
That was I was a true freshman. I was 17 when I went.
And first team All-American as a freshman. Freshman All-American.
Yeah,
right?
but that it's crazy because it felt like when I got there, it felt like everything was going perfect. But it's like now that I look back, I kind of snicker at it because it was like my final hurrah. It was like my last hurrah.
And when you thought it was just gonna get going,
it was just getting going.
Yeah.
But really,
so all that, you're freshman of the All-American, blah blah blah, and then you fuck up your elbow.
Yeah.
Right?
And the thing is, like, it was a shitty situation because. You can see the big, basically reconstruction of my elbow. But what happened was, it was like kind of on the fence at sophomore year. So I'm going into sophomore year. In baseball, I don't know. I'll just explain it because I'm sure you guys probably don't know. But in collegiate baseball, once you commit to go play collegiate baseball, you have to play 3 years.
Really?
Yeah, it's not like a one and done situation like basketball. So, you know, if I was a basketball player, I would have been one and done. But, you know, basically you're stuck even once you make that move. That's why a lot of guys get big money when they get drafted out of high school because they're like luring them, you know, to not go to college. It's essentially, you know, you make that decision, but you're there. Once you make that decision, you're there for 3 years.
That's a big decision.
Right. So, you know, that's how they give them big bread because they're like, hey, you know.
Doesn't it make sense for most people because you mature in college? Like, I'm surprised you can play.
But look at the risk. Like,
right.
Look at football.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's risk. And if you're like really like, if you're a highly skilled guy, you know, it makes sense to just go.
Doesn't Tommy John's surgery have a lot of success?
Yeah, and really, like, that was my mind frame the whole time. So I was, you know, to get back to it, I had a bunch of elbow issues at the beginning of sophomore season, and it was on the fence. You know, I went and saw Andrews, like the best surgeon. He's like, hey, I think you can rest. If you rehab this, I think, you know, we could treat the summer like after sophomore season. We could treat the summer as like a slow rehab process. You won't have to cut you know what I mean? We won't have to go like, because it's, you know, all doctors don't, the last resort is like cutting you and actually going and making an incision because you can't predict what's going to happen. Yeah. But the best doctor.
You're in LA, son. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. But, you know, long story short, I'd take that choice. I rest. So sophomore season, I'm like, hey, I'm going to redshirt. This is cool. Junior year, you know, right when that season's starting, pop. So the rest didn't work. I actually blew it out completely. Boom, going to surgery. Another 16 months.
Bro.
So
16 months.
Oh, yeah.
Automatically, from an All-American freshman year, sophomore, junior year, gone.
Yeah. And then during all this, I'm sure you're just a sad panda. Depressed.
I really think,
sad,
honestly,
sad.
I wasn't a sad panda.
Bamboo.
I wasn't rapping yet though. I was.
That's what I was gonna say. You were. I'm sure you were. There were dark days.
Oh, for sure.
And what I'm trying to get to is, when in the hell did you start? Kind of, because you started rapping kind of as a joke, right?
Yeah.
You made a video for your teammates.
Right. I think I learned a lot in that phase of time because I really did. I had that, you know, that there are guys, you hear about the success stories of Tommy John. So I really did. I was very positive. You know, I was obviously down, you know, when the way it played out timing wise, but even during that rehab phase after the surgery, I'm like, fuck it, man. You know what I mean? I might come back even throwing a little harder. You know, I was a hard thrower, but I wasn't an exceptionally hard thrower for a closer. I was in the low, you know, 90 and 94, but I was a closer. Yeah. I had really power, like breaking ball. So, you know, I had a positive outlook the whole time. And I think that's the key to life, bro. Because
if you have what else are you going to do?
If I was moping around, I definitely wouldn't have made music as a joke. You know what I mean? Like, I was in a good vibe still, so it just kind of carried over. And as I've become more of a serious musician, you realize it's all about your energy. It's all about your vibe.
Yeah.
It's all about
Well, it's also
you know
like, it must have been such a kind of nice surprise to you when you realized that you could actually do this. Because for me...
Well, that's what I wanted to get to before we jump into that. That's why, because... So you would be in the locker room just like freestyling?
Yeah. I mean, you know... I really wasn't. I've improved a lot. You know, like those. If you listen back to the first records, there's like an obvious amateur vibe to it. Like, I'm talking $40 mic in my dorm room on GarageBand. Like that first song that popped off for me, like the final version that's still out on YouTube now, has like 5 million views or whatever it has. That was made on GarageBand on a $40 mic. So in my dorm room. So it's like, you know.
But was that when you realized? Because I know for me with stand-up, I just never dared even tell anybody I was going to do it. And I started doing my jokes to people like it was somebody else. So I would have my jokes and I'd go, dude, I heard this comic, and I'd start doing my routine. And if people laughed, I was embarrassed. And people would start laughing and I'd go, fuck, maybe I can actually write.
Right.
How did you was that kind of the first... you know, confirmation that you had something?
Like once the video got those, you know, was popular, where you're like, all right, maybe I'll start. Because let's be honest, as a white, let's say I'm your dad, and his dad was personal trainer, right? Stud, trained you since you were a kid. Yeah. So your dad, being this athletic background stud, hey dad, I want to be a white rapper.
Oh yeah.
If
I have a 4-month-old son. If he told me that when he's your age, I'm like, you're an idiot.
Red flag.
White rappers don't work.
Yeah, you know, they shout out to my parents. Honestly, that's why. You know, I feel like that's why I'm here, because I have like a support system. You know, I feel like if I did have parents that were like really panicked about it and were like, no, maybe I wouldn't have. You know, but they were like, they knew, they felt the injury as much as I felt it. Like, put it this, like these, like my parents would drive down every weekend. I was a closer, so there's no guarantee. It's not like I'm pitching Friday, I'm gonna pitch 7 innings. It was like, yeah, I could pitch every game. I could pitch none of the games. I could come in, you know what I mean? And they would drive down from Rhode Island every weekend.
That was the dream, right? That was the trajectory.
The whole family, it revolved around this. So when I got injured and all that, kind of like we were so high and then so low, you know, I felt like they were just vibing with me, like, you know, staying positive. And I think also the leisure that I approached it with, no one, including myself, was thinking it as a career plan. It wasn't like, yo, Dad, I'm gonna be a rapper, buy me a mic. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, I'm just fucking around. Like, yeah, Duke is hard, but I had so much free time because I couldn't travel with the team. Yeah, and I'm living with all baseball guys, so my whole house is empty. You know what I mean? And they're all on the road playing on the weekend, and I couldn't go, so I had free time. So I just kind of self-taught myself on GarageBand how to record. I'm recording myself. You know,
are there similarities, do you think, between like your sporting experience and like because singing in a way is a very physical process, right? It is an athletic endeavor.
For sure.
Yeah.
More the mind frame, the work ethic. Like, I know it sounds probably a little, you could relate to this. It just sounds a little cliche, but really, like, I've gotten this far. Like, yeah, I had my foot in the door. Yeah, people were interested. But if I didn't continue to like really evolve and like dedicate myself to the music, I would have been left behind.
Oh, the chips are against you, man. Yeah, the chips are not for a white rapper that came out of Duke.
Named Mike Stud.
You know, like the chips are not for. No one's like, yeah, let's see the white guy from Duke, who was the Gatorade Player of the Year, do well in the rap game.
It's very, very, very easy to hate. Yeah, very easy to hate. So, you know, it's like.
Have you had support from rappers you admire? Have people reached out? Is your audience primarily white?
Yeah, it is primarily white, but we just got the cosign of all cosigns, and we're in Toronto, and Drake came to our dinner, and
Drakey Drake.
We tried to get him on the fucking TV show, but
he wouldn't do it.
You know, it was
he big timed you.
Nah,
son of a bitch.
He didn't though. It was kind of charged to the game, because we really the camera crew's right there. But we weren't filming at the time, and it would have been cheesy if we were like,
if you're here,
can we film?
You'd look real bad. It made you look bad and ruin our relationship.
It was cheesy, but my boy, who like all these guys who just have savvy, like someone set up a camera, so we have it all on camera.
That's cool.
We have it all, the audio, what he said, but he's just like, yo, I really fuck with you. And he's like, it was crazy. I had no idea he had any awareness of me, and he's like, the other night, he's like, I'm with the girl, and I was playing her. I was playing your shit, and some girl like he was with, so I'm like picturing I'm trying to play it cool.
Yeah.
Picturing in my head Drake with a fucking girl in his room, like
balls deep.
Yeah.
Listen to Mike.
Like, what are they doing? You know what I mean? And he was like, some girl was trying to put me on this new guy. I was like, nah, this dude Mike Stud way harder. And I was playing.
Boom.
And I was like, what?
That's pretty a big
cool. That's a big deal.
That's a big fucking deal.
Yeah. That's like fucking Muhammad Ali being like, yeah, he box. You know what I'm saying?
Who are the rappers and the musicians that you are awed by?
I mean, I'd say what Drake's doing right now, I think we're watching greatness. I feel like it's a LeBron scenario where once it's done, you're going to be like, wow. You know what I mean? Because Drake isn't your typical, like, you know, easy to love hip hop artist either in some ways. You know, he gets a lot of, I feel like it took so much unbelievable content for people to just be like, fuck it. This
to give him
incredible.
Credit. Well, he's kind of that Nickelodeon rapper for a while, right? Saying. Like he was a TV like child star in Canada acting. Right. And then you can go to rap. You just don't have the same credentials as say like a Kendrick Lamar.
It's a cool thing.
It's dope because it shows that they're legit artists, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to come from this thug background and rap about Bloods and Crips.
Well, hip hop's just like evolving. Like, hip hop music is now pop music.
Correct.
You know, so it's like
you need a hook now.
It's for the masses, and you don't necessarily. You don't need like this whole undertone of being like really street. because it's for the masses.
And I think if you went that direction, you wouldn't be here now. You sure wouldn't be on the Fighter and the Kid. Like say you were like rapping about bitches and killing and shooting off guns.
Absolutely not.
People are like, bro, you're from Duke. You know, like you put through big.
Yeah, see, that's like I wouldn't even had a fucking career. Yeah. Like that's what
you played it smart.
Yeah, I just figured it out very quickly that kids want, like, especially if you're on the internet looking for new artists, like there's a certain type of person who's like, you know, like, yeah, nowadays it's evolved. I've been doing it for about 4.5 years now. I think it was 5 years ago when I made that song. That joke.
Damn, that's nuts, man.
And like that was the first time I ever recorded anything or did anything musically, you know. But it just automatically I was thrown into it. So I was learning. Like when I talk about, I'm grimacing when I listen back to a lot of that older shit. I like, oof. You know what I mean?
You can tell that it's not that it's bad, but like I was listening to the older shit this morning, and then you listen to where you're at now, it's completely different. Yeah. But I think even if Drake at the time came out with an album when he was 4 years into it, you know, it's not that you laugh at it, but it's a growing process.
Right.
You listen to this podcast, you watch one of my first fights, like, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
There's no way. But I think in this day and age, like there's so much talent out there, man. Like a Mike Stud is walking out there now. There's someone like you out there now, but you need a vehicle because there's so much content right now. Like you can get it everywhere. So you need a vehicle to get that voice out. I felt like when I reached out to you, not that you're not killing the game, but our fan bases are completely different. Granted, it's 18 to 36 males, although you have way more females. Well, I'll show you some videos. You see our live tours all dudes. Anyways,
all dudes. Literally all dudes.
We sign
just
titties.
Dicks. Hey, I see a dicks.
Girl, it's not like they can see you guys. So the guys can relate.
They know it.
The guys can relate to what you're talking about. Girl, like, you know what I mean? I feel like if you guys were on screen.
Well, yeah, it's coming.
Listen, I appreciate
we had that
some more hoes.
Mike's taking me in person, and he was quietly impressed with my athleticism.
I'm physically impressed by your athleticism. Just sitting here.
But all I was saying is like with you, I just feel like the more you're out there, and the reason why I think what you're doing works is because you don't have this huge record label, like, you know, Bad Boy or whatever, these huge record labels.
I think that's why we have a TV show.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like, everyone's like, why the fuck does this guy Mike Stud have a TV show called This Is Mike Stud?
That's
you know
what's
what
interesting. I don't want to see a TV show with P. Diddy who's worried about his image, who's not going to show us the tour bus, or be with his boys, and one guy's just fucking slanging dick nonstop on the tour bus.
Just slanging dick.
You know what I'm saying? And missing the dates.
Slanging.
Because if you're...
Dick slanging all over the place.
He's a dick slanger.
Antibiotics.
Real cock bandit over there.
Get those down his throat.
Season 2, I'm taking dick slanging.
I'm not saying anything, but when I was your guys' age, I did not know what a condom looked like. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
He doesn't either. He still
doesn't. He doesn't care.
Roll the fucking dice. Don't be a baby.
But with you,
Sorry, guys. Sorry. Yeah. Bad example, kids.
But I was saying the reason why the TV show works and why more people need to tune into it is because this is what's real, man. If you have someone, name any big time rapper, they're gonna mold the show where it's not real.
I was just gonna say that. Like
their image. They're worried about this. They have this person there. They have this team. They have this guy up top in his.
Yeah, you get more to lose, you know, when you get really famous. What happens is a lot of people are talking in your ear and they're controlling that business, that machine. A friend of mine was going to do a movie. He's a director, and he's going to do a movie with Tom Cruise. And Tom Cruise took 1 year to make a choice, and ultimately said no. And I said, "Why is he?" I said, "Why is he doing that?" And this is Todd Phillips, who did The Hangover, and I mean Todd Phillips is a big deal, right?
Todd Phillips
and
fan.
Todd Phillips,
said,
the best. And
those are like all of our favorite movies.
I mean, that makes sense. He's a genius.
I'm trying not to fangirl because this guy to my left has been in like all my top 3. You've been in like 2 of them.
Yeah, well, there you go. See that, kids? You hear that?
Say we finish your thoughts.
But he said that when Tom Cruise says yes, an entire machine.
Oh, it's a chain
moves. Literally, you're talking about 1,000 people who get involved who are making a lot of money. So when he says yes, he's got to be very, very careful because it literally will affect 1,000 people and maybe more. And by the way, will affect an entire studio's year.
What's the last movie he did? Well, when you say you got to go through the whole Scientology chain with that motherfucker.
All
you know
of
what I'm saying? Like you're not just going to his manager. Well, you got to go through Travolta.
Yeah, my decisions affect like 6 guys and 2 of them are here.
So. So how did it start with you? So obviously rap's taking off, albums are doing great on iTunes, and then Esquire's like, yo, we want to do a TV show.
Yeah, you know, the TV thing is an interesting story because you guys would have really liked probably the first version of this show that was out in the universe because we shot a pilot 2 years ago. I was single. single mic's different beast. So we, you know, it was a very ratchet, you know, for lack of a better word, it was just you guys were wild motherfucking.
And that was on YouTube, right?
No, well, yeah, that's how we got discovered.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like we got contacted by a production company. You know, they're like, hey, we caught wind of your touring's boring shit. You guys are hilarious. Let's do something. We're like, cool. You know, like the whole time, even though I was younger, you know, I'm a lot more kind of, I guess, at the forefront of the business decisions. I feel like we're finally really kind of understanding and hitting full stride what our moves are, what our lane is. But we were interested and understood that TV is an interesting opportunity. I'm a very unorthodox hip hop artist. So unorthodox, you know, platforms seem obvious. You know what I mean? Like it seems like something that I wouldn't be shy to do. So the TV thing, you know, we shot the pilot and it was A+ television. It was like Jersey Shore on steroids, you know. It was just it was gnarly. It was like, you know, a lot of girl, you know, a lot of just wild shit going on, and it was all the networks wanted it. All the networks, like the VH1, the MTVs, and at this time in my life, you know, I'd say it was about 2 years ago we shot that pilot, and we, you know, as we were watching it, we're like, we went. I remember our first time we sat and watched it. We were like, yo, this is incredible. This is a hit. And then I started thinking about it, you know, like I'm letting it marinate a little bit. I'm like, we're going to go down as these like trashy
party boys
celebrity. Like our celebrity would be so trashy and it would be short lived and it would be not respectable. You know what I mean?
And maybe not even who you really are.
Not really. It's not a fair representation of who we are.
You'd be like Pauly D in the rap game.
It was a phase. It's a part and a phase of my life. And I feel like a phase that a lot of kids were relating to. Like that was my life then.
It's very smart that you. It's very smart that you realize that.
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, that's a theatrical version or maybe a heightened, extreme version of who you are in that moment.
It's not.
But then you'd have to hold on to that or replicate that, and that's very, very astute that you knew that that's not something you want to keep.
I just understood. I understood the longevity of like that decision.
So you told them no, like we're down to do a show.
I went radio silent on them. I was just like, you know, my production company and that. I'm gonna shout them out. Den of Thieves is the production company. They deserve a tip of the hat because they stuck with me. You know what I mean? They understood. I basically, you know, took a couple months, and we went and met at the Soho House here, and I was just like, this can't be the show. I have a vision for this show. You know, the touring's boring, funny, sarcasm shit. The crazy ratchetness, yes, that can be there. But if that's all of the content, it's the wrong look for me, and I'm not going to do this show. You know what I mean? And basically, they made the decision right there on the spot to allow us to creatively direct this. You know what I mean? Like, basically, they said, we're going to make your show, and we'll find the network that will do it. So, you know, 6 months later, Esquire says yes. And we do, and we go and they hire, you know, a woman who's Alex Lipschwitz, who, you know, I think it was an awesome idea to bring in a female, you know, showrunner for this show was a female. Yeah. And it brought an interesting dynamic because, you know, it's kind of this, she got a lot out of us that you might not have gotten if it was a guy.
It was a dude,
it was like a mom. It was like traveling with a mom. You know what I mean? And
you're going to open up more.
And she got that out of us. But this product I'm proud of. This product is us. This product is a fair representation of me and who we are as people. So I stand by it.
But you also, I think if you would have done it back then, when they first came to you guys, and you're like this party bus, and no one's gonna take you serious. But also, you got really super validated with this last album.
Yeah,
Climbing the iTunes chart. So it's like if someone's like, I don't know Mike Stet's, like, yeah, his album was #1 on iTunes.
Yeah, you know, it really is timing is everything, and you know, that decision now in hindsight, I'm just fucking so thankful I waited because that validation did happen, and it's not complete. There's not complete validation. There's a long way to go for me, but there's enough validity there that you can, like, you know, like we said, I'm very easy to hate on paper. So once you watch his show, and you're like, oh, it's kind of cool. Like, let's go listen to his music. and then you go listen to the most recent project, and it's actually good, you know. And it's
very good.
it's something that's like a project. That's kind of how I feel about this product of the show. It's a product I can stand next to and be like, this is. I like.
So now how does
It's weird to me that people would hate on a white rapper, you know, or someone like trying to do their best. It's so weird to me
It goes back
you
to
will
that-
get a lot of hate because it's like,
No,
oh, he's like a frat boy trying to rap. It's like, no, man, if you actually listen, he's also a guy risking taking chances. What the fuck you hating? And also, it's the same reason, like in the NFL, this isn't racist, but if you see a white running back in the NFL or a white point guard in the NBA, I root for him every fucking time because that dude went through some
He's an outlier.
shit to get there.
Yeah.
Same with the rap game. If there's a white rapper who's actually doing it, he's not playing in the same lane as the rest of the guys.
I think what you run up against as a white rapper is that because rap came from, you know, a great deal of black hardship, the ghetto, the South Bronx, when they had nothing, when in fact the South Bronx was on fire. There tends to be this idea that Justin Timberlake got shit for this.
Absolutely.
The idea that you haven't earned or you haven't had the experience that this came out
Exactly
of,
right.
therefore you're being an imposter.
Exactly right.
However, what I think is really awesome and very, very encouraging is that, like in the American experience, this stuff all becomes biracial. The American expression is biracial. Rock and roll, you know, the blues was sung by black men who didn't have the vote and who didn't have anything. And what happens, it mixes with jazz, it mixes with classical, it mixes, and guys in Britain who are working class dudes are listening to the Muddy Waters and going, man, why don't we try a version of this, but add our twist, and you get rock and roll and the Beatles. And that's what's so cool is that this beautiful sort of amalgam, this mixture.
I think now entertainment's entertainment. I'm gonna fuck black, white, Chinese. I'll send a Chinese guy rapping. If it's good music, I don't care.
It actually brings things together in a way. At least it forces us to contend with the idea that we're not going to escape each other. That there is a cohesion with.
You're exactly right. And I was gonna say guys like, you know, Timberlake, and even Drake. He's half white and isn't necessarily, like we said, your typical, you know, guy from the street or hardship. Those guys, you know, open the genre up. They open, you know, that stereotype or that wall of like feeling like you need that or you need to come from that. It's just been softened. They're like massaging it and warming it up for guys like me. You know what I mean? That it's not really about that anymore. You know, and like it's also a day and age where you can get famous in your fucking mom's basement. It doesn't matter. For sure. And I think I'm encouraged by it. You know, the industry is flipped upside down, but I'm not an industry guy, so it's cool. But like really like that's the best when there is no system. It's not institutionalized. Like people like it, so they go to his YouTube
If it's good music, if you like listening to it, it's good music.
Like there's so much content out there. You have to have so much talent to stick out, man. But you also need the right vehicle. So when you were making the show, did anyone have the idea? And we can get into this, or you can skip it if you want. Was anyone like, maybe you should be single for the show for ratings?
Actually, no, because they. You know,
he has a girl, right?
Who's your
Mike's music earlier was about girls drinking, you know, blah blah blah.
I think no one would say it to me, but everyone was a little in the back of their heads, like, "Oh fuck," you know what I mean? This could be
because he's known as the playboy.
It wasn't my persona; it was just who we are. And again,
you put it down. You put some numbers.
You were 24, 25,
you know 24,
25, 20.
We're the type of dudes that like think about this. Like, let's put it this way: it's a much smaller scale, but we go play a show, right? And like instead of like going onto the bus and driving to the next city or going back to our hotel, like we're like, hey, we're partying right next door. Yeah. So then all the girls right next door, and it was the type of we created like this whole vibe around our show where it's not like, bro, if you go, you might go party with those dudes. You might end up in there. You might get fucked. You know what I mean? The girls.
Has anyone ever said that? Hey,
I love you for that.
You go to Fire Kid Live? Yeah. Someone get fucked.
Somebody's getting fucked.
If girls,
Big Brown's gonna fuck someone.
And if you like fucking guys that look just like you, then you're getting fucked.
Man, you think Big Brown's gonna titty fuck me? Yeah, if you put on more weight, he will.
It'd be like if you had a fight at the fucking Garden and you're like. You win it, and then you're like, "Hey guys, come meet me at fucking McAllister's. We're partying." Like,
yeah, no, that's happened. Yeah,
and like, right, but like,
I get it.
Think about
and they like the way the dick tastes.
It's like sharpen. Yeah, it's like fucking. You know, it's like we're fishing with dynamite. So it's like, and really, it became a whole vibe. Where, like when I was starting, we were talking about a vehicle. Like our vehicle was touring. we're in a fucking minivan.
That's how you make money as a musician now, right?
Yeah, but that's how I'm saying, like, we created this word of mouth on college campuses, like, yo, fucking Mike Stowe was here. You know, it was a memory. It was a night. Like, it wasn't like
you're also creating a fun environment, like a party vibe.
The music was cool, but the fucking vibe.
It's insane what they do. Like we could learn from this because it's literally it's like a fun vibe. They're drinking. It's all his boys. There's 4 other dudes, right? And they're like all friends and they're all involved.
It's all you guys.
49-year-old. Woo! More drinks, girls.
Chug. Oh, he died. He's 49.
Sorry,
he's dead.
Sorry, let me just Skype with my kids and I'll be right back with you ladies.
Nah,
everybody call me daddy.
I wish we knew you. I wish we did this before the LA show because, I mean, you guys will love it. Like, it's not. You wouldn't be the oldest guy there. But
I'll tighten my skin up and we'll do it.
But
we'll throw a backwards hat on him.
Fuck yeah.
It's like it's just an interesting vibe. It's hard to, you know what I mean? It's hard to put into words, but even a show that's like 350 people in New Mexico, you'd think is like kind of awkward. It's just a fucking rager, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
they're nuts. I'm gonna show you when they leave.
I can't wait.
Nuts.
Who is your girl? It's somebody.
Jose Canseco's daughter.
I am not mad at her either.
Josie Canseco. She's a fucking rock star. She's you know, just really, really obviously super attractive. But
where did you guys meet?
I met her at a bar.
Really?
Ironically, she's 19. I'm not gonna say the bar that she was in. But I didn't know that. She's young. I'm 27, so she's a lot younger.
Not after one of your shows?
No.
Just randomly at one of the LA bars.
She had no idea who I was. Like, she's cool. Like, she's, you know.
I take it you've met the man?
Oh, yeah. Episode 8, playing Home Run Derby with Jose. That's an exclusive for you guys.
Tell me you beat him.
Actually, I mean, in all technical terms, yes, I did. I'm gonna get a text from Jose like, "You fucking serious?"
How tall is Jose?
Jose is like a living monster. I mean, you're a big fucking dude too, but this guy's like
6'6", isn't he?
He's like 6'5", but he is 52 and he's a fucking monster.
Is he still tan as shit?
He's got one of the most attractive male tans I've ever seen.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah, I said it.
We were talking about. Was this yesterday?
Yesterday we were just talking randomly.
And I made a statement. I want to let you know that. I'm not gonna let that fly under the radar here, but
I just got back from Hawaii.
Yeah, don't be mad at his. Don't be mad at his tan.
They call me Big Brown.
But I said this, and I meant it, and I said it with great gravity, and I said. I take in masculine pulchritude. I take it in. I study men. I've looked at your back. I've looked at your traps. I've looked at your tries. I'm not mad at what I'm seeing right now. You're an athlete.
That means a lot coming from you.
The kid's supple. He's got it going on.
Nice voice too.
Absolutely. Your boy over here. I shook his hand. You got some.
They got good looking crew, man.
You got some mitts.
He's got those landscaping mitts, man.
He's got landscaping mitts.
We call them dick beaters.
Dick beaters.
Well, that's exactly what they are.
Yeah.
That's it.
I hired this guy out of a bar.
Did you?
I'd love to go over how you met your whole crew. It's so interesting. You guys are so close, tight knit.
Yeah.
But you can tell you're the captain of the ship, right? Like obviously, it's your.
He's the co-captain.
It's your vision.
He's the enforcer. This guy, but he.
Sure.
I mean. Yeah, I don't know.
No, you don't want to fuck around with Brendan. He'll do whatever he wants to you right away.
We don't need that.
It's funny with the professional fighters.
How married are you to the podcast? I might need to bring you out on the next.
I'm there.
The next leg of tour.
I'm there, dog.
No, he'd be a shitty. He's a terrible bouncer because he's not gonna fight.
I like everyone.
He's not gonna fight.
And you'll like fucking murder. Like we don't want like. If someone like comes too close, I don't want them like being decapitated.
No, he's good. He's good.
I want to be your Flavor Flav.
No, he'll squeeze you till you cry. He knows how to squeeze.
Yeah,
he give you squeeze down.
Maybe submission stuff could work.
No,
I'm down, man.
We can work it out.
The squeeze down on you. We call it the squeeze down because I've tried to grab him. I do anything I can. Even when he's trying to take a nap, I jumped on him.
I don't like you in that.
And he starts to giggle. Starts to giggle, and then
no matchup.
No, dude, I'm not.
Hey, so
I'm not an athlete.
For those who haven't seen the show, the reason why the show works, obviously Mike Stud's a talented dude, but the crew behind you really is what makes a lot of the show because there's so many different personalities. There's so many moving parts. And I think if you watch one episode, you're like, these guys are going to crash and burn, man. Because they're all friends. Some are getting drunk. One guy's getting his dick sucked in the back. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, there's no way.
Whoa, in the back?
Single.
In the back?
It's a bus. It's called the Boom Boom Room.
It hasn't happened yet. Have you gotten...
They call it Bulldog.
Not from the back.
Have you gotten a blowjob on camera yet? Has that happened yet?
Yeah, it's on the show.
Has it happened on the season?
No,
yet?
it hasn't.
No.
I would have known.
So
called him out.
That's why we're really pushed. Like they moved us back to the 11 p.m. spot because we get pretty ratchet. I wasn't. That's why I said we did not. I did not allow them to say. They could not tell us what to do, what to say ever, and that was contingent in our contract. Like I'm not. ever gonna do some cheesy like that's what the TV thing was like. It was like a leap of faith for me. I was like in my own head, like I'm a thinker type of dude. I think everything out, and I was really wrapped. I was kind of ass backwards. I didn't know what was the right move. Like if you think about it, it's cool to be on TV, but like there's also a connotation of like reality TV. There's just cheesiness. You know what I mean? It's like these guys are
it's scripted, really. You can tell most of it's scripted,
like, and I fucking hate reality TV.
Yeah.
So
I can't get enough.
You know. Yeah, I mean, I fucking hate it. So I don't. I mean, I get why it's entertaining.
For sure.
I think a lot of people. I think the secret to reality TV, like a lot of this hit reality TV shows. I think I figured it out high one night. I was thinking in my bed. You know, reality TV shows, like people are so drawn to it and attached to it because they kind of hate those. They kind of hate the people. They're like, I fucking hate you.
They want to see people do as badly as they do.
Yeah, they want to be like, what the like. Even like I catch myself like I'll be scrolling through. I'm not attached to the people. I'm not fans, but like it's so stupid. I'm like, it's like just you know what I mean.
It's also a good way to zone out. Like
you probably understand this because you know like
you hate it like he does.
Yeah,
see,
I'll
get balls deep in it. Like
He'll watch.
Hip Hop Wives of L.A. I'm just no. He did what? Like I'm just because it's a way to zone out.
The funny thing with you is that bringing it back to Jose Canseco, who by the way I was going to say before. I have as my best looking athlete.
He said of all time. He did rank him up. That was with Jerry. That was Turtle from Montreal.
Yes, you can imagine the type of jeans I'm working with over there. That's why.
But now you got this giant man who is dad watching the show, and you got to be on your best behavior.
It's funny. The episode 8 really chronicles it, but there's a funny little dialogue between me and Jose, and like in the media, he was walking around LA, and TMZ caught him. And they're like, what do you think? You know, TMZ had covered me and Josie a little bit, like, and Josie's it's awesome because she's not what you think she is. You know, like when I met, you know, she's very immersed. She grew up in Hollywood. She's, you know, friends with Bieber, friends with all these guys, all these, you know, very high level celebrities, young Hollywood. And she's very immersed in that. And I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we moved out here. Now we are a bit. But, you know, when I met her, I was like some fucking YouTube rapper, you know, so she had no idea who I was, but
for sure get Bieber on a track.
I forget where I was going with this. So Jose?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So TMZ was covering us, you know, a little bit in our relationship publicly, and then they see Jose, they're like, hey, what do you think about, do you approve of Mike Stud? And he's like, well, you know, I talked to him on the phone one time. I'd never met him. He's like, I talked to him on the phone. He seems nice. He's like, and mind you, this guy blew off his finger with his own gun. Like, that was in the news, too. He blew off, literally fired it off and blasted his finger off.
This is Jose?
Yeah, this happened. This happened like 3 years ago.
Oh, shit.
It was like a news thing on TMZ. It was like a funny thing. People... But he goes, yeah, I'm going to answer the door. You know, when he comes to visit, I'm going to answer the door with a gun and see how he reacts. That's my mom. Like,
he doesn't really need a gun.
Tour. I'm on tour. Yeah. 1, he doesn't need a gun. 2, I'm on tour. I wake up to like 3 texts from my mom in a panic. My mom's in a fucking panic. Like, have you seen this? Is he serious?
You know what I'm thinking is that you've got Canseco genes. If you and your girl, his daughter,
breeder,
have a child,
the breeder,
it's going to be very difficult not to push that kid into some kind of a baseball career.
Obviously, guys, you have to.
You got to do it.
I'm gonna be like soft tossing to him as an infant.
I was gonna say,
man.
But yeah, you know, Jose is actually been a very pleasant surprise because I didn't know, you know.
The media almost makes him out to be kind of a tool. Like I read his book, but we were talking about it on Monday's show with Jerry. It's like he got such a bad rap because like, oh, he's just hating with all the steroid allegation stuff. He was 100% correct. Yeah. He was just
about all those dudes.
He was like, fuck it. Everyone wants to burn me. This is how it's going down.
It's cool because we actually have like a pretty cool segment. He's talking about it on the show, like about the book and how he regrets writing it. But
he regrets writing it.
He regrets writing.
I'm a fan.
He regrets writing it. Like he like I was saying, he's surprised. You know, I was pleasantly surprised his self-awareness and you know he's kind of.
How old is he now?
52.
You know how he does that thing with his eyes when he does this?
He has Tourette's.
When I watch him, I have to do it.
Like
I started thinking about him, I started doing it.
Yeah,
for real.
He was talking. The first time he was talking to me, he was blinking. I was like, I didn't know he had Tourette's. And then Josie told me he had like minor Tourette's. But
weird. Maybe I'm getting it because from head trauma. Because when I see, or if I see someone doing it and I think about it, and I start blinking my eyes really hard.
Just go get that checked out.
Does his twin brother have the same thing?
It's a legit point.
He might. His twin. I haven't met him, but they're like fucking identical. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But Jose, like he's. I was like, it was a cool guy to be around and hear him talk. You know what I mean? But he says it. He's like, man, I was telling the fucking truth, and now it came out in post. But like, at the time, he was just so tainted. He was so butthurt about, he was the one guy that they just banned him. You know what I mean? And he felt like everyone's doing it, and I'm getting, you know what I mean? Like all of his peers were doing it, and he just felt like it was unfair and
does he
irrational.
not care what the public or media thinks of him? Because if he wanted to, he could come out now. Like, he come on here, he come on ESPN.
If you guys want him on here, I'll get him on here.
100%.
Love to get him on.
I'll get him on.
Love to get him on.
But so he could literally just come on and be like, "What's up? I fucking told you." Yeah.
He,
what's up now?
His vibe is just kind of like, I regret, because he was a fucking, like, he was an all-star perennial baseball player, but he was an all-star celebrity.
Yeah.
Oh, legit celeb.
Like, this guy was a rock star. If he was here, if he was this generation, he'd be the biggest thing, and he'd be a fucking $100 million contract guy.
Easily.
But now, he just, baseball and the way it fell apart kind of like broke him down a little bit as a man, and I feel like it humbled him a little bit.
He's also 52. You get that way,
Yeah, he's a very prideful guy, and I'm still a very like just dominant alpha male. So he's obviously not. He's not like some soft-spoken, humble guy. He holds his own, but you can get that undertone of like, he looks back and might have done some things differently.
Makes sense.
He's talking about how he missed out on a lot of roles in Hollywood. This guy's a MMA, like, he's fully skilled in black. He's like a black belt. I don't know if
he fought. He fought in Japan.
Yeah, he has like crazy. I don't know how good of a fighter he is, but like,
the fight was terrible. But still, it's not his fault.
But he could, like, for movies, like, this guy's like a huge guy doing nunchucks.
100%.
They liked him for a lot of roles, and they said no one would touch him after
the steroids.
Damn.
After the book,
because he kind of there's so much hatred.
He's just like labeled as a huge snitch, and it was a snitch move, But at the same time, he felt.
Was there a lot of PEDs in college baseball?
A fair amount. The guy in the Cape. In the Cape, I don't know if you guys know about the Cape Cod League, Summer League. It's really where the movie Summer catches about it. Great film.
Good movie.
Kind of sarcastic, but I enjoyed the movie.
I'm not mad at it.
Freddie Prinze did a good job. But no, like the Cape Cod League is an awesome vibe because you're out there, you're living with families on the Cape. It's all the best guys in the country collegiately, all in one place. Like it's like where you get to see guys. I'm like the guy who started the Major League All-Star game. Chris Sale was in that. I remember pitching against my first night in the Cape. I pitched against him. And,
damn. Like,
so you get to see people. Everyone goes out there in the summer to watch baseball because those guys are going to end up being big leaguers. You know what I mean? But, like, essentially, when we went out to the Cape, that's really where, like, the arm, I didn't really get the full experience of the Cape, but that's where, I probably shouldn't even say this, but you saw some stuff.
Dabbling with that,
but it's part of the culture. You know what I mean?
I think that's professional sports.
I think
at any level. Even college, I saw it.
And like
in football, you saw it.
People don't understand these fucking. People don't understand. You do, the shit that your body goes through. When you're talking about 160 games,
it's insane.
It's crazy.
It's absurd, man.
I don't.
Baseball was the best
for pitchers.
Baseball
people
in a way
people don't give pitchers the credit because it's over,
the overhead,
and on here. It's the velocity nonstop, and then you got to rest. And they're like, "Well, they have 3 days off." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
There's a whole sports segment. Like, I watched the sports science segment on this. It's literally in all of sports, throwing overhand is the most unnatural thing for the human body in all of sports.
It's nuts.
So that's why everyone gets surgery. All these things happen. You hear about Tommy John's success stories, but like I said, in college, I didn't say this yet, but I played with probably 7 or 8 guys who had Tommy John, and none of them came back.
They were one of the best arguments I heard, or one of the temptation of steroids was with baseball. In fact, the guy who did fight science and sports science, John Brankus, in his book, he talks about this. He kind of showed it like this. If you are somebody who is either 30 years old and your bat speed starts to slow down, and then somebody comes up to you and says, listen, you're playing 160 games a year, you're getting injured, I'm going to give you something that's going to make you look better, you're going to be more muscular, you're going to play the game for at least 5 more years at a top high level, the game you love, and that's worth in dollars 20, 30, 40 million dollars more, or $10 million.
Who wouldn't do it?
Would you do it?
But,
right.
But and then you're looking to your left and you're looking to your right and they're doing it.
Exactly.
Fuck yeah. But then also, like in baseball, I feel different about it because no one's physically getting hurt. If I hit a baseball over the fence, it's not physically harming anyone. And usually the pitcher throwing me the ball is juice to the gills. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's like it's an even.
Yeah, it's a kind of
like we had Chael Sonnen on yesterday, who was kind of Lance Armstrong for our sport, the poster boy for PEDs, and he was just saying, man, for me to even compete, like I was fighting Vitor Belfort, who's Mr. Steroids. Yeah. He's like, I know for me to even compete in the octagon with him, I have to get on some shit, man.
Absolutely.
Like otherwise, it's not even a fight.
It's a culture. It's embedded in the culture of athletics. It's human nature. You got to find ways and avenues to better yourself. And
technology is only getting started with this. When you're able to manipulate your genes and all that, I mean, it makes you wonder as science gets crazier and crazier about this stuff, and you're able to oxygenate your blood. You're able to keep your muscles even bigger. You can't trace it. You wonder what that says about competition. You really do. You wonder, are we going to have just natural leagues and then unnatural leagues?
I don't know if baseball will ever escape it. I don't know.
I don't think any sport will.
Because the thing with HGH, it's like it's a natural thing. So, I think guys do it and find ways. And you're talking about guys with millions and millions of dollars investing in themselves. So they're spending top dollar getting the best guys to cook up this, stuff that's undetectable. It's always ahead of the next curve. And
what's testing like in Major Baseball?
I know.
It's strict now.
I'm very close with tons of guys. And
your boy that you played with on Dukes,
Marcus Stroman,
stud,
he's
super
a stud. Yeah, he and a lot of guys I play with, a lot of guys that are listeners. That's a big reason why I'm here. I told you the Drake story, but no one knows that. You know what I mean? But I don't really get the public all the best rappers in the game love Mike. Like it's not. I don't get the cosigns from the Kanyes and the guys. A lot of rappers that can launch their career. For me, what's helped, it never launches my career, but it constantly builds my career. My fan base is all athletes. You know what I mean? If I say it on stage, I'm like, how many people are athletes or were athletes? Everyone. Girls, guys, everyone's raising their hand. So it's
because they can relate to you.
So the cosigns of these elite athletes almost held more weight to my fan base
100%
than if Kanye did. Because my fan base is a niche fan base. It's not, your typical hip hop fan base. So that's been an avenue and a vehicle. We talk about vehicles. That's, those guys just take to my music. One, probably because of my backstory. Two, a lot of sports references in my music.
But also talent recognizes talent.
Yeah, and I think those guys, more than anyone, they don't give a fuck what my back, they don't care. They just, if they like the shit, they listen to it.
But it's also cool because you are from an athletic background. And also, I think if you, this book guys are saying the same thing, if mastering your ego is the enemy, they're saying talent's always going to come out. Eventually, the hard work's going to come out.
Right.
So you're working your ass off.
Right.
You have the skills. I think people in the business recognize that, and it's just a matter of time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's where the vehicles come into play.
Right. It's just, for me, it's been about sticking with it, man. I've worked my fucking ass off as far as, I'm very, very behind. Like I said, that first song I made, I literally thought my teammates were the only ones. I didn't even think my parents were going to hear it. You know what I mean? It was something where I was just this is for my team. We're going to play this in the clubhouse. We're going to play this at baseball parties.
Did you get nervous though? He because he had to fight on a main stage, he'll get up and do stand up in front of 1,000 people. Nobody understands how hard that is. And he's
Hashtag sold out.
Yeah, he never did hashtag Phoenix July 29th, 30th.
We love that.
But he never started in the small clubs. He never started with a small group with his friends. He was kind of thrown into, I was like, hey, you go out in front of 800 screaming dudes and do stand up. And he's like, what the fuck? And it didn't dawn on me, he'd be a little nervous. And it didn't dawn on me that this is a giant step for somebody, but he'd been through in his underwear fighting. Man. So did you feel the first time you performed, it had to have been nerve-wracking?
Where was the first performance?
Nah,
Great question.
I remember. Really good question.
Thank you. I'm really good.
fucking impressed by you.
Thank you, buddy.
You're
That's
impressive.
I don't know why. I was like, great job.
Yeah. Oh, my dick.
These are impressive guys.
Guys.
Fucking dicks hanging out. In
You
his
find
pants.
out we're just gay as shit.
You look down and I'm not wearing
I'm a
pants.
sugar baby.
My
You guys
cock is.
can't
This is all fake.
Yep.
You guys
Hey,
can't
man,
see it
we're
at
here
home,
to
but
fuck you guys.
Yep.
We saw you in Esquire.
Fake mics.
We love it.
Door locked.
We're not even recording.
what a fucking weird vibe in here.
It's a gangbang and a Special K in the corner.
Special K takes her wig off. She's a dude.
It's a porno.
A gas is coming out of the vent. You guys get dizzy. Yeah.
I'm here for the gangbang. I was gonna knock on the door. I'm here for the gangbang.
I wish you did. I'm here for the gangbang.
Old school.
You guys fucked
callback.
up my entrance.
And that was Todd Phillips.
Your first.
Honestly, no,
Paint the
this is a
picture
great
for us.
question.
Yeah.
But to just preface that's honestly like kind of the underlying factors where I realized personally that this is what I was meant to do. Because I remember, I had that All-American season, and I remember going out and pitching at Miami, like one of my last outings ever healthy, and I'm fucking nervous. You know what I mean? Like I was already an All-American. It was the last 2 innings I threw. And I was nervous. I went out, I had butterflies. I was nervous. It was my first time. Miami is one of the collegiate teams in the country that they have 2,000-3,000 people there. There's a big legacy there. And I remember being nervous. I remember thinking, oh, fuck, I'm from Rhode Island. It's crazy. I made it here. And never once have I been nervous ever before going on stage or being on stage. Like, I'm talking.
That's where you belong.
I've never even had a butterfly.
That's where you belong.
So for me, it was kind of this wow, it's crazy, but this is probably what I was meant to be. It's the most natural thing I've ever done.
And then you just ran with it.
So that's what happened. I got on stage and I was just being myself. And
how many people are on that stage though?
The first show I ever did, I remember it wasn't that small because I opened. And I have played shows that small. But the first show ever, I opened for a guy named Chris Webby, who's another white rapper who, who at that time was, in my eyes, success. Was
for sure.
Big.
Webby was a big deal.
A big opportunity. Yeah. And I went and played the show. It was probably about 200 people in Baltimore. And, that's kind of where I remember being like, I'm not fucking nervous at all. And we went out, and I had 3 songs. And we just went out and fucking raged on stage. And the people just, I feel like that has been, if I could give any advice to anyone, not even doing music, but just that's going out and putting themselves out in front of people, on a public scale, I'm going to be a public figure. I think the key to success is being yourself. You know what I mean? I feel like human beings subconsciously could look at another human being and just be like, that dude's being authentic. You know what I mean? Sure, I might not vibe with it. It might not be my thing, but that's him. And I think
that's why you can never look bad when you're really honest or really, really vulnerable. It's interesting because when you kind of go, look, man, even when people really fuck up, when they really fuck up, and they say something like, yeah, I did it, and I feel really ashamed.
That's what I want to say with John Jones. I don't know if you guys follow UFC with John Jones, right?
I cheated, yeah.
He should just get on the mic and be like, all right, man, I'm fucking 27, 28. I'm the greatest fighter of all time. The night before they came and tested me, I was balls deep in some girl doing lines off this girl's titties. What do you want me to do?
Tiger
I'm
Woods?
the baddest dude in the world.
Right. I felt that way about Tiger Woods.
I'll be back in 2 years.
When Tiger Woods was reading that statement, I was like, stop, put that fucking thing down and say this. Hey, guys, I was the most famous golfer in the world. I've had to be perfect my entire life. I had the best looking women in the world throwing themselves at me.
I also have the personality of this kettlebell.
I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to be this way, and I have no I'm going to try to be better. I cheat on my wife a lot. I committed gross infidelity.
Like a lot.
I actually felt guilty, but I really liked it. That's the truth. I'm not saying I admire myself. I'm embarrassed and ashamed, mainly because of my kids. But I'm going to try to be better.
And then I would say, hey, fellas, try being me and not fucking slanging this small Asian dick.
Exactly.
Fuck you.
It's not, sir.
Half.
Okay. But
come correct.
Don't say it's small.
Come correct.
You're being stereotypical.
Well, there's half. Well, he's half black, half Asian.
Yeah, Dad was.
So you really have no idea. That's one guy you have no idea what.
I've heard he's working with something.
You're full of shit.
Oh, no. No,
really?
No. Yeah. And he and I know. He and I fucking know.
That's
He's got dick beating hands.
That's good to know.
I got skeptical hippo eyes right now, man.
He's
I don't
skeptical
know.
hippo at you. And I'm just
know.
saying. Anyway, I'm glad that we've covered dick size. I'm glad we covered Tommy John surgery.
Then we got a segment, current events, where it's all this shit,
Yeah.
and you'll be able to chime in.
What were we even talking about? I'm having so much fun. I forgot.
You don't even have to. We don't even have to try and go back to it.
Performance and butterflies.
But what's weird to me is that, do you think because you're on such a big stage, all American, performing in front of these crowds, and then going where you're not, where the pressure's not the same, where you're performing hip-hop?
Without question. I was a closer, so I would go in.
The Sandman.
They bring me in the fucking worst situations. I'm talking like.
Dude, that's
my
so
dad.
crazy.
I think my dad still has anxiety from it. He'd be like, he said it in the first episode. He's like, I still get nervous. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they'd bring me in, and I remember that Miami outing. I'm pitching against two guys that are like really good big leaguers right now. Yasmani Grandal and Yonder Alonso, who's like they're not mainstream names yet, but they're like really, really good pros.
Yeah.
And they bring me in. I'm facing fucking Yonder Alonso, bases loaded. That's like my first, you know what I mean?
How'd that pan out?
They grounded out.
Tight move.
Because
you all hit a grand slam.
There are a couple of things as you bring this up. There are a couple of things that make me nervous when I watch sports. One is, believe it or not, when I watch the finals or like when all the chips are on the line, when I watch figure skating.
Yeah, hashtag gay shit.
I know. When I watch figure skating, I'm like, don't screw up. When I watch gymnastics, when a girl's got to hit that ball. I know.
I didn't peg you as a figure skating guy or a gymnastics guy.
I am a secret. I'm secret figure skating fan.
A lot of credit.
Secret gymnastics fan, girls.
Hey, fuck all the sports.
Hold on.
Being goalie for Brazil in the World Cup.
That's another one.
Fuck your ice skating.
That's another one. And then pitching when all the chips are on the line and you're facing a monster at the plate. And you've got to basically throw that line, or you got to throw a junk, or you got to fool him and get him thinking what they.
Or let me do you one better. Try being Miesha Tate when you're the main event on the biggest UFC of all time.
Right.
And you're supposed to carry the card, and you get punched in the face and choked out.
That though, I feel like fighting, of course. But I feel like when
there's no more pressure.
No, I know. But when things are so precise.
Yeah, I was gonna say fighting. I agree with you a little bit because fighting. I mean, I don't want to. You're the fucking expert over there, but I'm basically like fighting is just such an adrenaline based. I mean, do you lose yourself when you get in there? Or you
when you do, you get knocked the fuck out very early.
So you just got to stay extremely tactical.
Well, but the thing is you got to remember
when you do, you get knocked out.
That's probably the biggest battle.
Well, 100%. But in baseball, I know I go to the mound, I throw pitches. Yeah, I can throw a million different pitches, and this batter, you might be, left, righty, whatever. But I know what's going to happen. He's going to swing. I'm going to throw this ball at him, right?
True.
I'm trying to get him out. In fighting, there's a million different circumstances that could happen. It's the unknown is so fucking
100%.
scary.
Yeah,
because
right.
I don't know. I have no idea.
But in a way, that's almost what. I guess what
that's
I'm saying.
That's why the pressure's so high.
But in a way, what I'm trying to say is like.
And also, if I lose, I get half my.
No. But in a way, what I'm trying to say is,
I get knocked out my underwear.
But wait. But what I'm saying is that it's not. That's not what I'm saying. In a way, when you take all that out and you have only one job. Only make this putt. Just make this putt. Just throw this ball to the plate. In a way, because of the precision of that, because of the minimalist precision, that's where the pressure can be.
I disagree. I know you guys agree. I disagree for this reason, though, Mike. And then you can argue your point. I can get on a mound and throw that exact pitch I'm going to throw in the game 1 million times before I face fucking Ortiz. Not the same because the pressure's different, but I can at least duplicate it, the exact speed, my exact stance.
But you only have that one. You have that one opportunity with David Ortiz, just like you have that one round with that guy. You have no idea what their approach is, what he's looking for. It's
and you can't throw the same pitch.
I think you're right. It's just an agree to disagree because I remember like thinking about what you said like. I get most nervous. I watch all sports. I get really nervous for the kicker at the end of the game.
The same thing.
I'm like,
I'm not trying to compare the two. I'm trying to make a larger point here. I'm not taking anything away from MMA or the pressure on either sport. It's different. Yeah. What I was trying to say is this: that there is a mindset you must have for something like that. And did you how did you talk to yourself? Did you try to just draw a blank? Like, what was the psychology? Because you and I have talked a little bit about fighting, which might be a very different thing. But for this, I've always wondered, with golfers, just make this putt. With a pitcher, just don't fucking throw wild.
The biggest battle when it's about the biggest battle is with yourself.
Right.
Very similarly to the guy who makes that putt 10 out of 10 times, but you're battling yourself when all the chips are down, and it's a similar situation. Especially closing, it's different when you start a game. And a lot of guys, you know, some guys are very sharp when they start. There's guys who have tendencies where they kind of ease into their starts. And there were parts of me that I remember wishing, like, oh, I wish I could be a starter. You come in on fresh innings. You know, a lot of times they just
got a lot of time left in the game.
You're thrown into it, and you're dealing with, you know, a mess that the pitcher before you created.
For sure.
And it's like everything's on you, but you pitch one, it's time to execute. There's it's not like figure it out first few batters, let's get comfortable.
Yeah, it's clutch time.
There's nothing. So it's really what they look for in closers is a personality. You know, they look for certain pitches. Obviously, like I had a my breaking ball is, you know, it was an A+ breaking ball, and that was really my only A+ pitch. But you know, it really, as much as the pitches is what they look for. Like I know coaches for a fact, they look for a certain personality. You gotta have ice water, you know. And it's one of those things where I think, you know, as a mind frame, it's a battle with yourself. I wish I was the person I am now.
I hear you.
And I, you know, I did have, you know, I had my last healthy season. I was, you know, very successful, but, you know, I was an 18-year-old kid. I don't even remember what I used to think about on my day-to-day fucking.
It's crazy.
Nobody who's older doesn't say that. We all say, try being 49, where you're like, dude, if I knew the shit I know now.
But don't you think that mindset is the same for everything?
It is.
Entertainer, football player, MMA, like so that mindset.
I think we get back,
battle with yourself.
Yeah, getting back to like the main point. Without my experience as a closer or as a pitcher, as an athlete, at a pretty high scale, I don't think I go into this as seamlessly as I did.
No way.
Because you know, getting on stage, and back to your point about him and getting on stage to do stand up, it's like you just feel like it always felt lesser. It felt like a lesser pressure.
See, I feel more pressure because I feel
you feel more pressure when you go
stand up. Well, it's a different kind of pressure because you know what I'm saying, like. Yeah. It's a little different because I was eight years as a professional athlete, so people knew me as a professional athlete. So when you go up there, like, look at this meathead trying to slang jokes.
Yeah, so stand-up's a different vibe.
I feel like you're constantly trying to be like,
stand-up's different though, Bob, because you got to get them to laugh, and you have to see results immediately.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's
stand-up's a different vibe.
It's more immediate. It's like being a closer and pitching.
Yeah.
Got to be good.
Similar,
got to be good in a way with your first pitch because you go out
right
there,
away.
Yeah, you can't. You go out there in front of 1,000 people.
Horrible.
It gets quiet. I've seen very famous actors and people try stand-up, and people love them, and they go cheery, 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 and then 3 minutes in, it gets quiet.
I feel nasty.
It gets quiet.
Let me ask you this, Mike.
I'd be scared. I'd be nervous to do stand-up.
What's more rewarding? Sold out crowd at one of your concerts right now? Like, name the biggest concert you've had. 3,000, 4,000
3,000.
3,000 people, sold out.
That's a lot.
Girls in the front row, your boys. What's more rewarding? That where you kill it? Or
meeting me.
Closing for Miami when you were...
Absolutely the stage.
Not even close, right?
It's not even close. I mean, there's like some obvious reasons. Like, if you think about it, I headline all my shows. I talk about opening in the beginning. We've made it as kind of a business, it kind of happened this way, but I will take credit for like the strategy. I think there's value in people buying a ticket with your name on it.
100%.
And it might be in a shitty bar in fucking Arkansas, but those 200 people bought a ticket to see Mike Stud because they're fans. So like, I think my approach that helped me, like with the, you know, maybe that's why I was never nervous. I kind of I just thought about it very kind of generally. Like, these people are already here to come see me. They're already supporters. Let's go out and have a good time. I know they already are partially invested in me.
You're not trying to win them over.
And it's not like stand up when it's like a lineup, like, you know, or I guess that's not necessarily fair to say, but it's like I get more nervous hypothetically if I'm on a lineup where I don't know if anyone fucking there know. Like, sometimes I play these bigger festivals now as I've gotten bigger, and we go and we're like, I have no idea how this is gonna be. You know, like, yeah, there's 6,000 tickets sold.
Yeah, I know. But how many
people?
Familiar?
And then there's also that awkwardness of like, you know, just like you could lose a room, you lose a crowd, and
because they start talking.
Yeah, and it's just like they're not necessarily they've never heard of you before, and you know, again, you're Mike Stud, the white rapper, and you're here to see someone else, and you're like, who the fuck is this guy?
See, I think why it's more rewarding, and this is what I was telling Brian, is because as a fighter, if you, let's say UFC, my last fight, UFC 183 or where the fuck it was, 163, you're paying to see the lump sum of fighters. You're there for the UFC experience. You're not really there buying a ticket to see Brendan Schaub fight. You come to the Fighter and the Kid, you are buying a ticket to see Brendan Schaub and Brian Callen slang some jokes and entertain you. Exactly. So you're there for us.
Hashtag Phoenix July 29th.
That's why I feel like it's more rewarding.
Right.
Because the love you get from the fans, the one-on-one reaction. Yes. You might be a great closer at Duke, but there's 3,000 people in the stands. They're there to see Duke beat my man. You know, I mean,
the memories and the experiences that I've had meeting people.
You have a real effect on him too. Like he has a song, I think, about depression, right?
Yeah. Well, I was playing a show. This is 3.5 years ago. I'm playing a show in Cleveland, and 200 people there. And I do meet and greets. And at this point, I was meeting pretty much anyone who wanted to meet me. You know what I mean? And this girl comes up to me. She waited. She's the last to go. And she's just fucking, as soon as she gets up to me, she just loses her mind, starts crying.
Sad panda.
And it wasn't like a fangirl crying. It was like,
desperation.
Yeah, like I had one song where I talked about, I kind of, people will look at my story and be like, bro, people with a lot bigger problems than fucking not being an all-American baseball player anymore. It's not, but it's more just about like the understanding of like, having a path or having a goal and having it stripped away. A lot of people related to that, like just, it's a story more of a perseverance and like, when one, it sounds cliche, when one door closes, another opens. And with her, I had some lyrics. I talked about how I felt like I had let down my family, and I was talking about, I forget the song that she referenced, but essentially, she had said these few lyrics that really spoke to her. And she's very severely depressed. She's 16, had attempted suicide like 3 times. And she's like a week, like this whole month, I just wanted to see this concert and then I was going to kill myself. Jesus. She's like, this was the last thing I wanted to do. And she's like, tonight, change that. I want to be alive.
God damn it.
And
I've had those experiences.
Because then you see his fans, you see people now who suffer from depression. It's real, man. Like, I dated a girl with depression. I had no idea. I'm like, for sure, just eat ice cream cone, shut the fuck up, and let's go to the beach, and we'll figure it out. It doesn't work like that.
It does not work like that.
It's a straight sickness disease.
Yes. It really despair when you take your own life. I've had experiences with that.
But back to him, so you see fans now with his lyrics tattooed on them. Wow. You see like a bunch of people that suffer from depression. Like, bro, you help me, man.
It's so
all
important.
his shows.
We I was like obviously taken aback. And I took her number directly, and I was like, just call me. You could call me if I'm like, I just felt so connected to her at that point. I was a college party boy at that point. And I felt like I remember that day like it was yesterday, so I and then, I ended up having some crazy nights with her. I would answer her calls. She'd call me and I'm talking her off the ledge.
Damn.
Really. So I wrote a song about it. It's called Past Gone. And, listening back, the musically, it's amateur, but the notion of it is really like authentic.
Yeah, it affected a lot of people, so I wouldn't call it amateur.
Well, I'm just saying the musicality of it as I listen back, cool. But the notion of it was spot on, and like I said, the authenticity, people knew it was real. And it's a really cool story because now, I wrote that song, and she had this Tumblr. It's actually how like I came up. Her Tumblr was called Past Gone. And she's like, I'm already past gone. I'm not even here. And her whole
that's so intense.
So I called the song Past Gone, and she ended up becoming like this like point of contact for a ton of kids who all over the country, had listened to the music and wanted to know the real person. And at first she wanted, like, there was anonymity, like with the song, I fudged some of the like different city. She wasn't sure if she wanted it to be public at first. And now, it became this thing where people were reaching out to her all over the country, and she realized that it really helped her to talk to other people.
Isn't that amazing?
Big time.
And now
right?
I just saw her 2 weeks ago. She's studying to be a psychiatrist.
That's cool.
And she's
man.
like a year from self-harm. She hasn't self-harmed herself in like a year, and she's doing incredible. So it's like one of those things where I feel like, you know, as much as the party boy and the persona and the brand, it was cool. This was like a turning point for me as an artist and just as a personality that people really like. So, you know, it changed my, people looked at me a different way, and it opened up a new avenue for me. And I you know, a lot of my music, as much as it is kind of, you take a quick glance, it's pigeonholed into party music, but I think most of my true fan base is drawn to the other side.
Agree.
And you know, maybe there's a
well, it's kind of gives you purpose. I think laughter and music are in many ways what we stay alive for. Yeah. You know, I've had a lot of experiences coming off stage, a lot where I remember 3 years after 9/11, you know, this guy came up to me with tears in his eyes and he said, "This is the first time I see my sister laugh since she lost her husband in 3 years, 3.5 years." So or you know, I remember I had the weirdest experience. I was in I think it was North Carolina, and I did a show, and a woman, very frail but young, and she didn't look well. And she goes, "You're gonna have to hold me up." She goes, "You made me laugh so hard. I have terminal cancer. I don't have a lot of time left." But the way she said it, she was like trying to not inconvenience me. She goes, and that doesn't matter. I know it sounds weird, but you made me laugh so hard, and I feel so good right now. And I'm like, I'm not gonna cry. I didn't know what to say. I deal with that. You deal with that, and it's a beautiful thing because, and I don't know, maybe on a small scale, you matter. It makes a difference. Yeah. It makes a difference.
You acknowledge him, give a voice. That's dope, man. Let's go to current events with Evan.
Current events
guy. So Evan used to have a gnarly ass beard, and he was Evan the Beard forever.
He would have fit in.
He even had his own Instagram account, Evan the Beard and shit.
Would have fit in with our gang. He's one of them, but the rest, you see the show. Everyone's bearded up.
Son.
All bearded up.
Hey, does the one homeboy, before we jump into this, and if you don't want to show, you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. The one homeboy, it just,
you gotta watch it.
It says,
you like it.
He'll love it. I'll show him after.
You like it.
It says Drake's guy. Is he ever like, come on, man?
Yeah, well,
Drake's guy.
It's kind of it was more of like a network thing. They wanted his entry into it. Like he wasn't ever on the bill. You know what I mean? Like it just so happened, you know, right before we started filming. You know, I'm homies with a lot of the Blue Jays through Marcus, and he's the Toronto guy, Drake, and they're very like I guess, you know, Drake's like, you could even just watch him on Instagram. He loves Toronto sports. And so this guy, you know, Marcus is just hanging out with this guy who's, you know, very close to Drake. And essentially he just played some of the music, and this dude's like, what is this? This is dope. So then he, you know, he's always in LA. So we just started linking up. We became very just friendly with him.
Seems cool.
He's an awesome, hilarious guy. So like we're already filming, all the paperwork's done, but he wants to come on the road, and like, I know what the value he brings. He's a guy who brings an undertone of credibility just because of his allegiance to Drake, but also he was on the road with Drake for 5 years, so he's been to all these cities. So now on this tour, we're going to the best after parties. He's bringing in cool people, and it was like I knew the value he was bringing. Cool. I explained it to the network. I'm like, he's gonna be there. He should be a character, you know. And it was kind of a last minute thing, but they wanted to. You know, I feel like for them, it was kind of necessary for them. But he jokes at it.
I bet. He's like, come on, man. I got a fucking name. It's like Drake's guy.
I'm not Drake's guy.
And then last one, but it did, is Blue dead? What's Blue doing?
Blue's alive and well. He's here.
It's his best friend since childhood. So everyone has their role on the show. And his best friend Blue's just, I mean, he just gets white girl wasted every night. And then just like,
he doesn't.
What would you say you do, Blue?
He's an intangible guy, I call him. You can't fucking put it on paper, but everyone would attest that for me, he's like he's who I started this with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when we first went on the road, this kid.
He's a visual anchor.
You know Blue? You're going to geek to this. Initially, I had Blue be my tour manager for like the first like 5 things we did.
Do you hate success?
Can't even read or write, barely.
Did you not want to be famous?
That shows that I was like,
you had no idea.
At this point, I was just going and doing club. I would play like 2 shows at a club or 2 songs at a club, and he didn't do much, and he was my best friend. So I'm like, yo, let's just go
security,
have fun. For sure. Go have fun.
Yeah, he's like your boy. It's like security blanket.
I didn't need security. I had no one knew who the fuck I was.
No, I'm not saying security. I meant security for yourself, like personally, like security blanket.
But for me, like he was the guy. You know, he's working construction. So he's like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna come.
Hell
so
yeah.
we started rocking and rolling, but for me, he's like, he's a slice of home for me. You know, I keep him around. He has this kind of intangible
It's a visual anchor.
Calming vibe.
You see him,
and he's in his mind frame, you know, he's a lot smarter than he'll come off. Like, he's not smart on, you know, you sit and listen to him talk, but have a couple beers, sit and listen to him talk, he'll say some shit. He's like a Yogi Bear. He'll say some shit that's like, what?
Yeah.
What did you just say, bro? And he doesn't even know.
He can't read, but it drops some knowledge on you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we call him
like Floyd Mayweather.
It's like blueisms, which is like
blueisms.
He just fucking says he's a guy that understands where I came from, but for me, it's like I get really wrapped up. I'm a thinker. I'm not really a true artist in the sense where I'm like, as much as he's my tour manager and we're a collective, we make decisions, you know, I'm kind of the self-manager as well. Sure. So I'm always constantly, as much as, you know, they urge artists just to focus on being an artist, I'm constantly thinking about the decision making and the business moves.
You gotta be a businessman.
Right. And that's how, and for me, that's the only way it would have worked. So, you know, for Blue, it's like having a guy there that's, if I get too caught up in these champagne problems, I call him, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm like all wrapped up on things.
Champagne problems.
Yeah, I get wrapped up on things. I know.
Hashtag champagne problems. Yeah. That might be a new shirt.
Hey, dude. Hope you don't mind.
Problems.
We'll be stealing
You
that.
can steal that.
Let's go to some current events, man.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Champagne problems.
So I can't believe this is this is today's biggest story in sports. We're back to this shit again. The U.S. Appeals Court denied Tom Brady's request for a rehearing for Deflategate. So he's taking it.
Free Brady.
It's a foregone conclusion,
It's
basically.
over.
No, it's not over.
Bullshit. He's taking it to the Supreme Court?
He's taking it to the Supreme Court.
Hey, Tom! Just
yeah.
give it up, brother. Like, I know you guys from the East Coast. I love Tom Brady as much as you guys do.
Watch your next words.
Your next word, sir.
Choose your next words carefully. Hey, man, it's 4 games. It's kind of like, just fucking take the 4 games, and you probably go 500. You win 2-2. You're still gonna win that shitty ass. You're still gonna win the shitty division.
That guy wins.
Let homeboy get some reps in.
He's too competitive.
You talk about Tom Brady.
Is too fucking competitive. Brady, like I remember when Artie
He's
Lang,
taking 2 L's now.
Artie Lang described Michael Jordan. He said the best way to describe Michael Jordan, he's so competitive. He said, if Michael Jordan was on the Titanic, it would not have sunk. He would have been plugging holes. He would have been running around. And you could say the same thing about Tom Brady. That fucker's so competitive that it doesn't surprise me that he's like, nope, gonna win this.
You guys are big football fans, the whole crew?
Yeah, I mean, we're New England guys. We're really close with Edelman. So,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we...
I have a funny story about Edelman. Almost got in a fist fight with him.
Rock star. Oh, do you not like him?
No.
I might have to mend this fence.
No. Well, I haven't seen... Well, I don't know if I've seen him since. So I'm really close with Tim Tebow. And Tim just went to the Patriots. We're out with a crew in L.A., and he didn't know I was close with Tim, and he starts talking shit about Tim. I'm like, I don't know Edelman. At the time, Edelman's just a guy. I think he was just getting on the team, or he just made the team. And so we're at like bottle service, and he keeps talking shit about Tim, and I was like, all right, whatever, man. And then my boy told him, was like, hey, yeah, that's like Brendan's brother, man. Like, careful what you say. And then he was like, fuck, something like, fuck that dude, blah, blah, blah. And the guy's like, I don't know if I do go that far.
I wouldn't go that route with
and
this
then
guy.
he started drinking, and then he kept drinking.
Not with the guy with the cauliflower ears.
And then he kept going. And so then I got in his face like, listen, my man, we can go down this route if you want. I'm telling you, it's not going to end well.
It's not going to end well.
Like, I just had a conversation with him.
Talk about a competitor. That dude, we'll probably get in trouble for this, but I'm going to say it. That dude's playing ping pong at our house. Like, we're big ping pong guys. If any of you guys want to come over and get worked,
By the way, I'm not here to peep out of you on the fucking
if
the ping pong.
If you want to go down, like, you don't want to see him in a fight, you don't want to come see us.
You don't want to see my slices. You don't want to see my topspin. So I'm coming over. I'm coming over.
I
play for keeps.
Play for keeps.
I mean, that's a whole other fucking avenue we can go down.
So Edelman,
I think we might have to live stream like a little ping pong.
Bro, I'm down. And by the way, when I hit my forehand, hey,
yeah,
I make
that's
noise,
fine.
bro.
That's welcomed.
My backhand slice.
We encourage that.
That's welcomed. We have like a little ping pong arena in our kitchen.
Dude, I can't wait.
We scrapped the dinner table idea and we just went ping pong.
So Edelman plays
but we're talking about competitors. I mean, this guy's laying out, drenched in sweat, laying out face first for ping pong balls in the off season. And like,
I'm a fan, man. That stuff doesn't bother me at all.
And
I have no hard feelings.
Edelman, we'll just have to mend the fence because he's an awesome guy, and he's, it doesn't necessarily surprise me. He gets riled up, you know what I mean? When he gets riled up here, but he's a fiery motherfucker. I don't know what I don't know about all.
Kind of
all
have
that,
to be,
but
right?
At the same time,
He's a stud. At his
Yeah.
size, you have to.
Yeah.
he's a freak.
Oh, there's no hard feelings at
Yeah.
all. It's just a funny story.
Yeah, so we're Patriots guys, but back to Tom, man. We're also, you guys Barstool guys. You like?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was supposed to go on their podcast. We're in New York, but we just didn't have time.
We're Stoolies, so
Yeah.
we're on the free Brady train.
I pull half my current events from Barstool.
There you go.
I'm
we're all
balls
guys
deep
here.
in Barstool.
Yeah,
man.
good stuff.
Hashtag 49 don't know what it is.
Nah, never heard of it.
Hashtag go.
Literally going.
Go fucking hit the
I was
bench.
like, all right.
Go hit the shot.
You'd fuck with it. You'd fuck
Yeah.
with it.
I don't know if he would.
It's
I read the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, everyone.
where are you from?
He's from New York.
Yeah, so maybe it's very Boston. There's a Barstool New York City too.
Right.
But
okay.
it's the Barstool, the originated, that really popped off was Barstool Boston. So it's just a thing there.
It's
but
like one of the biggest sites. I mean, especially.
I haven't met Brady. That's like one guy I want to meet. Is
Brady?
Tom Brady. I don't know.
I
if
bet he'd be as exciting as a sloth.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not sure if I'd walk out and be like, that was fucking awesome.
No, you don't want to meet your heroes, my man. You really don't. I
You
mean,
don't say
I
that.
bet Drake's great, but as far as athletes, if they're that good, they're usually not. And trust me when I say it, especially, they're usually not a bowl of fun to hang out
Yeah,
with.
not a barrel of laughs.
They're just not.
the guys that gravitate towards us,
silly goose.
naturally,
usually good dudes.
they just there's a reason they gravitate towards
Yeah.
us,
Yeah.
So we find ourselves around those types of guys a lot more than like the
Yeah. What else you got, Ev? I'm so sick of that, by the way.
Yeah, I'm good on Deflategate.
When they were going through the Deflategate and it was almost coming to an end, I was I was hosting SportsCenter, and I went, all right, I'm not breaking down UFC. I want to talk Deflategate. And they're like, fuck, man. So funny. It was so old, just
constantly beating a dead horse.
Think about it if you're a commentator on ESPN or SportsCenter or Fox, like you have to cover over.
kills you.
Oh. What else you got, Ev?
So as of today, Forbes announced that The Rock is the highest paid actor in the entire world.
As well, he should be.
Period.
Yeah,
He should be.
We are in the room.
$64.5 million last year.
We are in the room with the living biggest Rock fan.
You
John
the biggest
Kilmer.
Rock fan? Check it. Me too. Huge Rock fan.
I think he's a. I'm
Always got
gonna
Dwayne
go.
on
Always
the
got
brain.
Dwayne on the brain.
Always
I'm
got
gonna
Dwayne
go
on
on the
brain.
record and say I've never enjoyed a Rock movie ever.
The Rundown. The Rundown's a great.
Did I see the rundown?
Was
I'm
The
Scott-
sorry.
Rundown.
Will
Peter
Scott
Berg.
Patrick?
Peter,
Or what's
Peter,
his
yep.
name?
That's Sean William Scott.
Sean
Yep.
William Scott.
I didn't see
Peter
the
Berg
rundown.
movie. It's what made him a star. It is a great movie and.
Oh no, I got another one
hilarious.
for you. Be Cool. He plays a gay guy. It's
Didn't
brilliant.
see it.
It's his best role.
Didn't-
Listen, I love The Rock. Painting Gain's amazing.
Didn't see it.
Painting Gain. I'm with you on this, brother. Dude, I'm the biggest Rock fan as well. I'm getting a little sick of him though. He's doing the same movie over.
I was just
and
gonna
over.
say,
and he's like, I'm like, all right.
I
bro.
hate him as an actor and I love him as a guy though.
Yeah, that's.
I think if you hate on The Rock, you're an asshole.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you can't. Guy's awesome. So what the fuck am I gonna say here?
Even ISIS is like, yeah, he's
he
cool.
just reversed course.
He's a. I don't enjoy like that's just a personal thing.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
enjoy his movies. I don't really like.
you like him
I
as a
don't
guy.
connect to him as an actor completely.
Fuck no.
But at
Fast
the-
and Furious 9 does nothing for
Also,
me.
just to put this out, I'm not even a Fast and Furious guy. Period. Like
either.
there's
I don't like
that
those action
genre
movies.
of like the unbelievable shit. Like,
Preach, son.
It's not my
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
You know.
me
Did you
neither.
see him in Hercules? Give me my fucking money back.
Didn't see it. I'm glad I didn't.
Give
see
me
it.
my fucking money. He looks good with long hair though, and he is. I wonder if he's taking anything.
Oh no, him and Brock Lesnar all natural. Next
All
one.
right, Yeah, and
You ever see his
a lot of
cheat
whey
days?
protein powder.
You see his cheat
What are
days
his
on
cheat days
Instagram?
like? Fucking-
It's like fucking boxes of Pizza Hut and cookies, and he's like, one day to cheat. I'm like, bitch, please. Bitch, please.
Bitch,
What else you got?
please.
All right, last one.
I'm
we
a
got.
huge Rock fan, though, not hating.
Last one we got today. A former U.S. intelligence director that used to run all of the ISIS intelligence relations and all that kind of shit came out and revealed that from all the laptops that they managed to seize from ISIS strongholds, he would wager that probably 80% of the content on those laptops porn.
Hey, but wait, hold
Yes!
on. What kind of porn?
Oh, I mean, it doesn't specifically say.
Well,
but
fuck's
probably
sakes.
some
That's a big
crazy
deal.
ass shit.
Dude, that's a good.
It's a brilliant question
Good
because
question.
there's a Persian girl who's destroying the porn game right now. I forget her name.
Mia Khalifa.
Boom. Preach,
What's her name?
son.
What's her name?
Mia Khalifa.
She
you
from
got it.
Cleveland?
Check her out.
Well, she's brilliant.
Cause,
and they're so upset at her. The Muslims are very upset.
Because
she has a set of Arab titties from the heavens.
Well, first of all, Persian people are not Arabs, so let's get that straight. But
no. I don't know if she's Persian either.
Oh.
I can't tell.
She's got some tits on her.
She has some fucking Osama bin Laden tits.
By that, he means bombs.
Bombs. She's dropping bombs. ISIS style.
Good little system on her.
Yeah.
Well, in Afghanistan, where I went to a little stand-up, they have these satellite dishes. I know.
You did stand up there?
Yeah.
That's legendary.
Like 9 years ago.
I know. They did.
He was like, I destroyed that room. I'm like, they're in the middle of war.
Military. No, but they had satellite dishes, and they all of them are watching crazy amounts of porn. How would you not? How would you?
But this
not?
ISIS intelligence, I mean, for sure, drop more fucking knowledge. I need details. Are they watching girl on girl? Are they watching black on white?
I'd love to know what kind.
You know what I'm saying? They're watching gangbangs.
These are things we can only speculate.
Are they watching the weird Asian porn, bukkake on the face?
Probably not. When you're a dude and you haven't been exposed to a lot of sex, just seeing naked girls is like, holy fucking shit. It's only when you become a connoisseur of porn that you need to keep up in the ante.
And then you find your niche.
Yeah. Because most of I can't personally.
Then you find your favorites.
I can't just watch regular porn. I'm like, whatever.
That's a part of every guy's like manhood is like finding out your niche in porn and what it's going to be.
Well, they've done
and then deciding if it's too weird. You're like judging yourself. Like,
dude, boys.
But then when you nut, it keeps going like, ugh. What the fuck was I doing?
Yeah, get me out of here. Get me out.
Or you're sexing with a girl like, too much. As soon as I nut, I'm like, no. Oh, God. No.
Hey, erase.
Oh, my God. You're disgusting.
How dare you?
Filthy animal.
Oh, I have to.
Day later, I'm like, hey, what were you talking about?
I'm taking an imaginary shower right now.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Well, that got weird. I'm sorry, Mike.
That's all right.
Is that it, Ev?
That's it, my man.
All right.
God damn it.
We have a little segment called Dropping Knowledge. I'm going to make it quick and funny.
He's going to read a chapter from Moby Dick.
That's
now.
right, ladies and
Everyone,
gentlemen.
prepare yourself.
And now, Moby Dick, everyone. The square root of, I'm going to ask a question. It's a trivia question. So, when you are in a room, they have a group of people in a room, do you think they eat more or less when they play? One room had loud, fast music with a lot of light in it.
I'm going to panic and eat real fast.
A lot of light in it. And the other room had slow music.
Are there drugs involved?
And a little darkness. Do you eat more with more light? Do you eat more with less light? When you have time, you can take your time. Like when I do know the answer, but so one area is more relaxed, more laid back.
Dark.
And the other area is like, it's like pleasant lighting. You got some jazz playing. Then the other one is a little bit more like, and the light, and the windows are open, and there's light. Do people eat more or less?
Mike, you answer first.
I'm deep in thought. I think the fact that if it's well lit, also can I get a little specification before I give my answer?
Yes, sir.
What kind of meal are they dropping?
He's a thinker.
Are we in a room with people we know, with friends? Are we
just a group of random people? But it's a buffet.
Group of random people in a buffet. I feel like you're eating less.
Actually, let me get more specific. With the group of people,
crab legs?
Do you think there are more pounds eaten, more pounds of food eaten in the well lit room with faster music? Or are more pounds of food eaten in the
Mike?
In the room that's a little bit more
same amount of people, one's dark, one's light.
I'm going less light, and my reasoning is I think people eat I don't know. I'd say I'm gonna go less light, but I'm not even sure what my reasoning is.
So in less light they eat more pounds. They eat more.
Because I feel like when it's well lit and like people are like aware, you're looking at people, you might be a little more skittish to really pile on
for judgment
doubles.
Yeah, preach.
Especially if you're talking about strangers and like, I don't know, you know what I mean? I feel like if the vibe is dope and it's comfortable, and then
I'm going nuts on that ribeye.
You're not really like worried who's looking. You know what I mean? It's a better vibe for that.
I'm with Mike. I'm going with Mike. Slow and dark. I'm going ham on some food.
You're going ham on some food.
Hard.
You're both wrong.
You know what? And I felt like that was a little bit. It was a little bit more obvious that way. So I feel like.
Well, here's why. It's really because your answer in a way is right.
Can I guess why?
Yeah.
Though?
Yeah.
Because when it's high paced, you're just like right? Just like fucking going. Yeah.
And your body produces leptin. Leptin is a hormone that lets your body know that you're full. But when you're eating slowly, because the music is there, what happens is your body has time to produce the leptin and get that signal to your brain. So your body goes, hey, we're getting full. So in a room full of people, they ate 61 pounds of food versus 95 pounds
Jesus.
of food. So there's a huge difference.
So why aren't
when you
steakhouses, why aren't it fucking bright as shit with fucking
Techno.
Tiesto playing?
Because they
Maybe
have to
we're onto
spend,
something
because then
here.
they give you more food.
start a restaurant,
Because then they
bro.
have to provide you with more food.
Mike and B
But it's more
steaks.
business.
It's more food. No, because then you'll spend more on food. But in this case, you have people who kind of hang out. They get fuller
Drinks.
faster, and then you can turn the tables over again. At least that would be the theory. But the bottom line is, I was surprised to see that too.
That is interesting.
Yeah, that
I have a theory
so if you
about-
want to lose weight, maybe draw the shades
I have a theory
down.
that's tied to this, and I can't tell if it's too stereotypical to say out loud, but I'm going to say it. I feel comfort. This feels like a safe nest.
You're,
are we in the
you're in the
nest?
circle of trust.
Can I be
circle of
honest?
trust.
You're very safe right
Are we
now.
in the- are we in the
Dude,
left?
Circle of trust.
Dude,
Circle of
listen to my voice. Listen to my voice. You're very safe right
Yeah.
now. You're safe.
No one's listening. Hashtag 3.5 million.
I have
Go
a
ahead.
theory. I have a theory. I'm not sure if it's completely original, but to me it is because I didn't read it anywhere. But I have a theory why Asians are so skinny,
Oh, I like this.
All right, I'd love
and
to
it's
hear
tied
this.
to that thought that you just said about eating slow and that the facts, the science.
Yeah.
They eat with chopsticks.
That's right.
This is some bro science.
And by the way, that's not Bruce science. That's actually very true.
It's the only culture
So
that eats with chopsticks.
Chopsticks allow you more time, and they let your body know. That
if you
you're full.
could grab a pizza, or you could grab a big sandwich and you just fries and it's finger food. You're just going. If you're eating with chopsticks, you simply can't eat fast.
Now, have you ever seen an Asian man with a bowl of noodles with chopsticks? They go,
Yeah, I mean,
and they down a ramen noodle fast. I mean, they deep throat those
but
noodles
they're eating fucking noodles, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
fast as fuck, though.
Yeah.
And it produces a
And
lot of
sushi,
insulin in your body.
Douche, efficient. Boom,
Badoosh.
I mean, it could be a.
I am not going to enter this conversation. You, sir,
He brought it up.
both of you should be ashamed of yourselves for being stereotypical. And I want to apologize to the Asian community and our Asian fans because this is ridiculous.
I apologize to the Asian listeners.
Dude,
it's probably
so many.
I like when we say Asian too. Asia is Russia. It's such a
We're
giant
apologizing to all
area
of
of the
them.
world.
What's the politically correct way of saying it?
Well, the politically incorrect was always the Orient, or so Orientals was always. But Chinese, Koreans, Japanese, pretty fucking radically different cultures.
You know what the fuck we mean?
Filipinos.
I'm gonna.
licorice.
I'm
You got fan questions, Kay?
God damn
You
it.
got them, Evan? Fuck
damn
your
it.
history.
I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna stick with Asians.
Yeah, me too, Asians.
And licorice.
There's no Russian guys like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah.
White as fuck in the snow.
Licorice is Japanese only.
Licorice.
Yeah, well, that would be a Japanese
Licorice.
stereotypical.
It's
Japanese.
whatever you want to make it, man.
Do you ever see Chris D'Elia do an older Asian man talk, Japanese man?
You guys know Chris D'Elia?
I like-
When
I
he's
saw
like,
him live.
That's our boy.
and he
He's
just
the
says,
funniest guy there.
McDonald's.
McDonald's. He's fucking hilarious. Go ahead,
Ready to
Ev.
roll?
Yeah.
All right, first fan question. Mike, who's your favorite rapper of the 90s era, and who's your favorite current rapper?
Can we call Biggie? I'd say Jay-Z. Jay-Z. Like, if I pick, people ask like my all-time favorite rapper, I'd say Jay-Z. But a lot of it is because I love what he's done with his brand and as a business person. Like, it's one thing to be a great rapper,
Brilliant.
but look at the guy. I'm like, I think it's probably partially because of my background and how I operate, and I'm obviously drawn to the business side of it as well. So I'm drawn to. I like Jay-Z a lot, but
makes sense.
Jay-Z, Biggie, in the '90s, man, like. This is where I differ from like a lot of rappers or musicians. Like when I was young, I wasn't listening to music like, oh, I'm gonna make music like that guy one day. That inspired me to make music. I was listening to music as an athlete,
You're listening
like
like
you
rock
do, like
jocks.
to work out or but at the park or whatever. But I was never like really like super influenced as I grew up by musicians because it was never in my mind.
That makes sense.
It was never like something I ever saw myself doing. So it wasn't like really how I listened.
That makes sense.
All right, next one. What is the creative process you do to make your raps?
Yeah,
That is interesting.
It's an interesting. That's a cool question because timing wise, I'm going through a evolution in that. I'm most of these days projects originated off freestyles. So I'll go in and my producer will I'll have a little something in my head and we'll start a little, even just a guitar or piano riff, something we like like a loop. There's no drums, nothing, and I'll just go in and I'll do melodies. I'll do free. You know, some of the lyric will stay for sure, but you know, this has been. It wasn't how I started. I used to sit out there and write.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be writing, and for me, I realized that, like, you know, create as an artist and as you grow, you want to start carving out like what you sound like. You know what I mean? And like what's your sound. And for me, going in there and freestyling and not having anything written, not having anything planned, it's the only way I get like truly original approaches, like how I would do it. You know what I mean? And I, you know, it's actually been like a big step forward for me, because I go in and freestyle. I'll go in for sometimes 10, 15 minutes, and 15 minutes could be maybe 40 seconds of cool stuff in there.
Yeah.
But you go back and you listen,
Chop
like, ooh, this is cool.
Yeah.
You take that, and then even if I'm just humming or saying gibberish, I'll then write to those. We know that the melody feels good, so it feels good on the record. You know what I mean? It feels good on the music. So now it's about what I say. But that has been like a big step forward for me.
It's dope, man.
All right, next part. What is some of the best and worst parts of touring?
Well, the best are like obvious. You know, the best is getting on stage and playing the shows and seeing people. Like, our shows are, you guys gotta come, because it's, you know,
When's
that's
the next
why
LA one?
we just played here. We played at the El Rey.
Son of
It's gonna be a little
a
while,
bitch.
but
That was a good theater.
Edelman was there.
Didn't we do the
could
El
have
Rey?
mended that fence.
Did we do the El Rey?
No, we did Comedy Store.
Okay.
Yeah,
we
El
were
Rey.
going to do the El Rey.
El Rey's like a, I don't know. Do they do others? They do
Yeah, they do.
non-music.
We were going to
stuff
do a
too?
live podcast,
'Cause
and we chose
that's
to
right.
come.
We
Yeah.
chose.
It's a
Comedy
dope
Store.
vibe there, because it's like
Yeah, I've
chandelier.
seen shows there. I like it there.
Yeah.
We're doing a show. The next show
Great
we have
theater.
here is Oxnard. You guys should come to that.
We're
It's not
definitely
that
coming.
far.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta come out.
We've been out to Oxnard.
Be fun.
Where do you guys live in LA?
We live right in West Hollywood.
Okay.
We're yeah, we've been here for about a year and a half.
So
Right.
back to the worst and best touring.
Yeah, the best is like the obvious. You know, like we really, we work our ass off, but we kind of treat tour like celebration. You know what I mean? Like, I'll go play the show, and it is business, and it's like really where I make most of my income. So it's obviously very important. I think that's why the TV show is cool, because you're seeing like us want to party our ass off, but also run the business properly. But, you know, meeting people, and, you know, when I was single, yeah, there's a lot of obvious, perks to that.
There were some perks.
But the worst is just the grind. People don't understand how fucking gnarly it is, man. Like,
That tour bus.
you're living with a bunch of hooligans in a very confined place, and we really truly are partying our fucking dick off. You know what I
And then
mean?
get on the bus and go into the next
So
town.
you just wake up. We call it a bubble. Like, you know, everything's changing around you. You're constantly moving, but we live in this bubble, like a traveling bubble. And
Yeah.
you wake up and you do it again. It becomes very monotonous, and becomes, without the adrenaline of stage and shit. I don't know how our livers hold up, but we do. You know what I mean? We just go after it. We don't. You know what I mean? Like, you don't even, like, I don't not party when the show's like not big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we still go out and party. Like, when you come to it, it's like a music show you've never seen before. Like, it is, you know, people are there for the music. They're screaming every fucking lyric back, but they're also there for that, like, we're gonna chug 5 beers on stage. I'm gonna bring you up. We're gonna drink vodka together.
Yep.
You guys are all getting fucked up. We're all getting fucked up, and it's that, like, feels like a house party. You know what I mean? So
That's a lot.
yeah, it's a lot. You know, and it gets, you
It's
know,
a
my
straight
mom,
party.
like, that's
I'm
one
delicate.
thing.
Fun though.
I'm a little
We
delicate.
should try it at our next show. Whoa!
Yeah,
Fucking
blow,
cool.
and I ruin everything.
Beer,
cocaine, fuck beer. I'm just
Yeah, I don't know.
snorting.
Get your tits out.
Watch my heart stop, you fucks. I can't get it up.
I don't know if the cocaine's
I'm
gonna
old.
work.
Pure blow. Needles for no reason. Needles.
Nothing.
Woo, you fucks. Let's get high. Let's fucking heroin and blow together.
Yeah, we keep it to liquor.
Confuse
That
your
makes
central
sense.
nervous system until you explode, you fucks. Too much.
Beer and marijuana. You know.
All
what I
right,
mean?
never
The
mind.
legal
All right,
stuff.
Okay, whatever, you square.
Last question,
Next
Al.
question.
You're making me sound like a pussy up here
Sorry,
talking
buddy.
about
Sorry.
needles.
No, you want to stick your finger in the gate, you might get bit. Go ahead. Go ahead with the last question.
Last one.
For Mike Stud.
What are your thoughts on this year's XXL freshman class? And out of all the guys in it, who would you most want to collaborate with?
I thought it was good. I mean, it's XXL is, you know, it's like one of those things that it's a staple in like the hip hop community. It's important. People, you know, it truly hasn't really like lost any of its with you know, how the internet's become a lot of the industry, a lot of things that used to be cool and like mainstays in the hip hop community. They're their punch is less. You know what I mean? It's like not as important because there's just so many platforms and
Like the source.
you could go find music anywhere. You know what I mean? But this XXL thing is just kind of, they choose the best. What is it? 10? I think they picked 10 of their picks for like who's next, who's moving the sound forward, and it's very urban. And this year I felt, and it's kind of that new wave of, it's club music. You know, I mean, it's a lot of it's Southern inspired, but it's very like, big drums, a little less lyrical. You know what I mean? And that's kind of where hip hop's gone, because it's like I said before, hip hop is now pop music. And pop music is pop music because it's simplified to be catchy for the masses.
Yeah.
So lyrics and like all this stuff that's thought provoking and making you listen to every lyric, it's not like the average guy driving to his job isn't trying to dial into what the fuck all these things you're saying. They want it to be catchy, and so it's kind of merged like what hip hop is. It's kind of become this more catchy melodic phase, and that's the XXL choices this year reflects that. But I would choose Lil Dicky. You guys aware of him?
Yeah, very aware.
Lil Dicky and Mike Stud sounds like a gay porn, so I don't know if we should.
Little Dicky and Mike Stud.
Appearance with Big Brown.
These guys mean business. Uh-oh. Who's in the closet? Who's out of the closet? Big Brown.
Come on down to the El Rey and see Lil Dicky and Mike Stud.
And who's the old guy in the corner masturbating and videotaping this whole thing? He's high on blow.
But Lil Dicky's killing it, and he's a good guy because on social media, especially when you see him on World Star, the videos he's doing with, he did it with Von Miller and all these guys, he's kind of branching out. Then you see him in commercials on Carl's Jr.
Yeah, he's like
he's out of his box.
He's like a parody rapper, but is also he's a good rapper.
Very, very good rapper.
So he like it works because we go back to the authenticity.
Yeah.
He's just being himself, and it's like
it's kind of a goofy.
Even like people who don't relate to him at all, like the urban markets, they just fuck with him. You know what I mean? But I fuck with him. I brought him over and waxed his ass in ping pong too.
Really?
He's an all-state tennis player and came in.
Yeah, but dude, I know you're a good athlete, but you see, when I hear this, Brian
takes tennis lessons in Calabasas.
Dude, I do a lot. Am I a slice guy? I'm an everything guy, dude. I got a whole fucking country of possibilities.
I'm an everything guy too.
Are you?
This guy right here is an everything guy too.
Really?
We got a good
mitts with the big mitts.
Good little system.
Dude, can I tell you guys something? I work angles. Is that cool? Can I work angles?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
It's all angles. But
Okay, cool. I'm just asking.
Well, that's it, brother. We appreciate you coming on, man. Like I said, I've been a fan for a while. Our fans are gonna love you, man. They can find you at Mike_Stud on Instagram,
on Twitter and Instagram. It's Mike_Stud, and
TV show on Esquire Tuesday nights.
Check it out. I know most of you guys who don't know me would probably like, I'd never fucking watch that, but it really.
I'm telling you should. Even if you don't like the genre of hip hop, I'm telling you, can relate to it. It's not about that.
You really don't even need to give one fuck about me or music. Technically, like it's not as much as my name's in the title, and it's about what the career. It's not. It's about the cast, and it's about the dynamics we have.
Characters is good, man. And then no tour dates coming up, right?
Yes, I'll be announcing a tour. We'll be announcing a tour in like a week.
And you can get on your social media.
My website is just www.mikestud.com, and but really, like, if you follow me on any of they're all synonymous. So if you follow me on Instagram, I'll post the dates and you'll see it. So
appreciate you coming on, man.
You guys are awesome.
I appreciate you guys, man.
Phoenix thing, guys, come see us in Phoenix. At Phoenix Live, July 29th and 30th.
Both shows almost sold out. tfatk.com.
San Francisco, Punchline. I'll be there August 18, 19, 20.
That's a long ways away. This is the Final Kid. We're out.